Alrighty. How you doing tonight?
I am full. I just barely had dinner.
Good man. Yeah, me too. The whole chat was wondering what I was eating, and I'll never tell. Uh, all right. So why don't we get right into it? All right. The first question is, what initially inspired you to become an artist? Oh, before that, do we have a link to his gallery? Are we doing that current? No. Okay. So let me link that in this chat. Here, Circuit. All right. So go ahead.
Oh, I'm on?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, I started as an artist back when I was a freshman in high school. I absolutely hated art, to draw anything, because I always did stick figures. When I was choosing electives for my freshman class, I had to choose art class, and I absolutely dreaded that idea. But once art class started, I started doing some drawing. I was like, hey, I like this. I started drawing some more, and pretty much after that, it was pretty much history. I kept drawing and kept on reading interviews and tutorials until I got to this point.
Oh, so you actually started very late.
Oh yeah, let's see, about 6 years ago now.
Oh wow, and this is the kind of stuff you do.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at the image we got here on the stream here. This is amazing.
Yeah, I can't see the stream right now. What you're showing?
Oh no, the back to the past one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that one. That was a fun one to do.
It looks like it. Now, what would you call your style, if you have one specifically?
It'll be hard to determine. I like to go between cartoonish and realistic style. I tend to have a hobby of trying out different styles of different people. I even imitate practically pixel by pixel just for learning reasons of other people's work, and I apply what I learn and into my own artwork, and I progress from there. And I really enjoy looking at other people's work and try to figure out how they do it.
That's pretty cool, actually. Oh, excuse me. I'm so not here tonight. Now, would you define yourself as a painter? Because the images that we're seeing seem to be, well, painted.
Well, I consider myself a digital artist. I'd like to reserve the term painter to actual like oil or acrylic painters. Though I did do that at one point in my life, though it was quite challenging for myself. And I do like to give a sense of a traditional feel to some of my work. I try to smooth things out or add a little splash of color here or there, just so it doesn't look too smooth like some digital paintings would be.
Huh. Oh gosh, I can't even talk. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to forgive me. I can't talk tonight. I'm just so dumb. Now then, for the next question, Circuit, do us a favor and bring this image up on there. What was the inspiration for this piece here, the morning warm-up Spitfire image? Because it's beautiful, and the wingspan. I find her wingspan a little funny. It seems to be really wide.
Well, that was actually a collaboration between myself and the Living Tombstone. He came to me. Yeah, he came to me. He was like, "Hey, I'm doing this song in my first song in Hebrew, and it's about Spitfire. Can you do some? Can you paint this for me?" I was like, "Oh, sure, certainly." And he gave me like a little preview of his clip, and I thought of an image that would go along with his song, and this is what I came up with. And to help differentiate it from other type of Spitfire images, I made the wingspan very huge and very close in perspective, just to give it that very, I don't know. It was just a cool idea when I thought of it at the time.
That's honestly, this image is absolutely beautiful. What exactly is going on in it? What did you do What story exactly did you make this in terms of Tombstone song or whatnot?
Well, I can't. It's been a while now from the initial idea of it. Um, the description he gave me is like she was going out for a morning warm up. That's where the title came from, and just to really emphasize her good qualities as a athletic athlete. And many athletes would get up. I'd done this before when I did soccer, early in the morning, and it's an amazing feeling when you're out there jogging or running or playing sports when the sun's coming up from the horizon. And I put that a little bit of that into the painting just to give that type of feel.
That's awesome. Oh, holy heck! Actually, someone in the chat just pointed out, is that Clydesdale in the background?
Yeah, that's Clydesdale.
That's cool. I didn't notice that at all. That's amazing. My gosh.
Little Easter eggs.
Yeah, they're always fun to find an image. Now, your images, you said that they were digital.
Yes. They were done on my iMac mostly. Other times on my iPad.
Have you ever done anything that's kind of like not digital, or like anything that you have uploaded, I suppose, that you did more, I want to say by hand, but I know that's not the term I'm looking for.
Oh, definitely. I did traditional art 2 to 3 years before I touched a digital tablet. Over in my gallery, I have a folder called Traditional Art. There's some aging pieces in there, but I do have a 2-hour sketch of a crying Luna with a moon background.
Yeah, that was called 1,000 Apologies, right?
Yeah, 1,000 Apologies.
It's a lovely image. It definitely seemed a little bit different from the others.
Oh yeah,
I saw at the gallery that you're a big Spyro fan.
That was my first fan art trend I was doing at that time. In fact, I did Spyro fan art a whole year before I even played one of the games. So.
Well, I guess no one can tell you what to be a fan of.
Yes, you can.
Never helped me. All right. Now then, oh shoot, I didn't even get this one up there. I need to do these things preemptively. Circuit, do me a favor and throw this image up real quick. Alrighty. Now, what inspired this one? Because I remember when this went on the cover of the Draw Friend, this Ponybots image. This image is incredible. Why did you decide to make this?
There's it's a tiny history on that one. I made a challenge to myself to draw the characters in completely different styles than I was used to. I uploaded that where I gave them a realistic style, a more cartoony style, an artistic style. All I had was 4 rows, but I was about to start a 5th row, and I was thinking, I'm going to make them robots. Let's see how well that turns out. And the Twilight you're seeing, the Ponybots image, is the final render of one of my sketches that I made for that sketch dump. I didn't show that part. I completely saved that. I was thinking, I'm going to make a Ponybots image. I had a mental image of what I wanted to make. All the paintings that you're seeing is basically exactly how I envisioned them from beginning to end.
Oh my gosh, I can't even get over this one. I mean, and this seems to be telling a little bit of a story, if you even thought about it. Because, I mean, you see Discord in the background there. Did you kind of like...
Hello?
D, there?
What?
Oh, we lost you for a second there.
Oh, you did?
What was the question?
Am I here?
Yeah, you're here. You
okay,
just kind of cut out at Discord.
Okay, sorry. I mean, yeah, we see Discord in the background there, so, like, does this kind of tell a story at all? Is there anything, like, that you thought about behind this image, or is it just kind of like Discord's back there, kind of come up with it yourself?
Well, I didn't put a description into my, and when I uploaded it, I like to leave it to the viewer's imagination. It's all up to them on what's going on. Were they transported to a digital world? Did Equestria became a futuristic city, etc., etc.? In fact, there is a fan fiction out there that's actually using this as a cover image right now. The person's working on it. The person's actually trying to create a story based off of it, so keep a lookout for that.
I'm gonna have to. If any any fanfic that feels itself good enough to use this as a cover image, that's definitely worth looking into, I think.
Was that a question or a statement?
No, it's just a statement. I'm asking you. All right. So why don't we move away from the artwork for just a little bit and get into a few more personal questions. For in this case, what's your My Little Pony story? How did you get into the show initially?
It was back in 2011 March. Um, I watched a lot of YouTube videos where people were creating music videos out of animated movies, mostly Disney, and I discovered MEPs, that is multi-editorial project, and I got into those. They were very amazing. After a while, YouTube started recommending me other MEPs, and one of them was a pony one. I was like, what is this, pony? And I clicked on it, and I was like shocked at first because I had no clue what this style of show was. So I did a little bit of investigation and found an episode, Bridal Gossip, and started watching that. Oh man, it completely blew me away, and I completely missed part of the episode, and I thought I thought Fluttershy was really a guy. I paused it. I was trying to figure out how in the world is this character a guy. So after cracking up the whole entire episode, I started from the beginning, and after 3 episodes, I got hooked.
I know that feeling. My case, my darn girlfriend. Trust her, that was my downfall. So now I'm a brony. All right.
I didn't even know what that term was. I didn't even knew you guys existed until like several weeks later.
Yeah, after I saw it, I had no idea the community even existed. I think I actually went through the entire season before I knew about this. Then my buddy just kind of comes to me, and I'm on meme base, and he's like, "An Equestria Daily exists." I'm like, "It does?" And well, from there, things got so pony.
Yeah, every single day I get surprised of what I.
Oh, chat. Moral of the story: don't trust women.
Yep.
I'm sorry. What were you saying? I cut you off.
Oh, not much.
Okay. All right. And now, what would you say that your cutie mark in life would be? Your own special talent?
Well, actually, I just barely created my own original character and uploaded it to Facebook, and I gave it a very stereotyped cutie mark, where it was like an artistic pad with a whole bunch of little colors on it, and a little paintbrush on top of it. Very basic. Otherwise, it'd probably be a snowboard. I'm a very, very good snowboarder. I just went snowboarding today and came back from it.
I know. I think you were actually telling us about it. You kind of like did a whole bunch of crazy stunts that you're like, oh my gosh, so much adrenaline.
Oh yeah, going 40 miles per hour down steep runs, doing 360s, all that stuff. And I'm not exaggerating at all.
No, I know. I figured. All right, now then, who is your favorite pony of the show and why?
Oh man, every single time I get stumped because I like them all equally, and every single one of the characters reminds me of real people and friends that I know. But if I had to choose, I would say Pinkie Pie because she is the one I drew the most or sketched the most, and she's just so much fun to create poses for.
That's my boy after my own heart. Alrighty, now this is an important question.
The image you're showing now, that was done on an iPad.
I just cut out again.
On the live stream, the image you're showing now, that was done on an iPad. Just putting that little bit of information in.
Oh, did I just cut out again?
No, not to my knowledge.
I think I know which question you're going to you're about to ask, and I think it did cut out because you said this is a very important question.
Okay,
right.
And just kind of cut out?
Yeah.
I'm still here?
You're here now.
Yeah, you're here.
Okay.
You're here now.
All right. So, no, this important question. Yes, this is important. Chimichurri or Cherichanga?
Cherichanga.
That is the wrong answer. It's Chimichurri.
I like
Chugga.
D-pad, you cut out again. You said it was Chimichurri.
Give me a second.
Chimichurri Changa.
I heard him say the whole thing, so I think he's cutting out differently for all of us.
Yeah, it just might be a little weirdness on his side.
Yeah. Okay. Let's try that now. All right. Oh, did it just give that beep?
There's the sketch styles I was talking about on live stream right now.
Oh, what is that piece? That's awesome. All right. Well, why don't we just move on before my mic screws up anymore? All right. Now then, how did you actually get into the community? I suppose, I probably should have kind of thought about how I was going to word this one. You don't by chance understand what I mean by that, do you?
I know what you mean by that, how I got into the community, because you get into the show and you get into the community, they're separate things. It wasn't until like a month later, after I discovered the show, I got really into the community. I was actually completely shocked how many people there were when I posted my very first MLP-related drawing. And I was getting a whole bunch of bro hoofs and a whole bunch of like "Welcome to the Hers." I was completely lost by all of these quotes that they were saying. So over time, I was just strictly on DeviantArt, and then Toxic Mario, he was telling me about Quester Daily. I was first like I didn't really want to get into that because I'll practically be going to it every day because I know what type of person I am. But I like the site, mostly the draw friends and the music posts. Everything else I pretty much skim or skip over, and it becomes a daily routine where it's really useful to have an RSS reader for that kind of thing. So that's pretty much my involvement in the communities with art, and more recently my mixes on YouTube.
Oh, well, all right. Mixes, you say? What was that?
Recently, I created a 1 hour mix on my YouTube channel, T-Citra360. Same name everywhere. A lot of people are really liking it. Silva heard it. I was pretty surprised by that. It basically, it's just like a DJ mix. Just one song after another with some creative transitions.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Oh, I had no idea that you had made music. That's cool.
I don't make them. I was mixing them just to.
Oh well, All right.
I'm creating a dubstep one currently, so.
All right. So let's move back into it then. Now, what are your tools of the trade? What kind of programs and such things do you use to create your work?
I get asked this question a lot when I live stream my own artwork. I use an Intuos 4 Wacom tablet, medium size. Photoshop CS5 for coloring and detailing. Sometimes I will use Sketchbook Pro from Autodesk to start off or lay down the composition of my drawings. And of course my iMac. They are all necessary to create my digital artwork.
Huh. Now, you said that you were drawing on an Can you really draw on an iPad?
I get a lot of surprises from that. It is surprisingly easy to draw on an iPad, even with just my finger instead of a stylus. There is a time-lapse video on my YouTube channel of my derpy drawing that people can see how I started it from beginning to end. And if you even search iPad speed painting, there's some amazing examples out there, ranging from the most concept artistic images to full-blown reality. I'm getting an iPad 3 pretty soon. That will allow me to get even more adventurous into iPad painting, get even more detail and higher resolution files.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I actually watched one of your speed arts, the Pony Bots one. That was awesome. When you were making the circuit board, that actually blew my mind. I'm like, wow, so that's how you did that? That's so cool. I can't even understand how an artist works the way you guys do.
I've been using Photoshop for years, several years before I started using it for drawing. I know a lot of Photoshop tricks, and I have an idea. I just start doing it.
Alrighty. Alright, now, you draw primarily singular images. Have you ever thought about drawing a comic of some kind?
I do have an idea for a comic that I would like to do, but I don't like to keep it like I said, a show style. I like to fully paint out my images, and I always staved off from doing a comic because I knew it was going to take me like 200-300 hours to make. So
yeah, like in this style.
Oh yeah, you'll be seeing it done in this style.
Oh man.
I want to start on it very soon. It'll be Big Mac related. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, very cool. Look forward to some Big Mac by oh, God damn it, Sutra.
And one little quick tip: my name backwards spells artist.
Yeah. I always found that funny. I did. It took me a little. I didn't notice it right away. I didn't.
My mind, it's blown. Oh my god.
Alrighty. Now, for the last question on my questionnaire, do you like to listen to music when you make your artwork? If so, like, what do you listen to?
Oh, I definitely do. People who come to my drawing live streams knows I play a lot of music from various genres. I generally like to listen to electronic type music, but I tend to time I'll listen to more classical. It's all just to relax my mind and just keep smoothly adding in more details or more to the drawing. It's very nice to have music while drawing. I don't know if I answered the question or not.
No, you did. No, you did. It's well, I suppose you didn't. But so I guess a little more specifically, kind of like what music do you listen to?
Okay. The pony related music, I like listening to Silverhounds. I like listening to Alex. Mainly to the top names. I try to find more not heard of music as well. I made a playlist on YouTube with over 192 videos of music. It will take 15 hours to go through. And that was just through the winter. They have to be well made. The vocals can't be too high pitched. I come across some vocal remixes, even some from top names. It just didn't sound too good. Basically, I have a big old standard on the type of music I listen to, and people on my live stream notices this, and they say I have very good taste in music. So
sounds good. Well, I mean, even with the big names, they can't all be winners, right?
Right.
All right, well, that is the end of my questionnaire. Now, if you have the time, this is the part where we like to let the host chat here and the viewer chat ask a couple of their own questions.
All right.
I have a couple questions for you.
All right, well, then, host chat, go ahead. And who's that? Snowy? Was that you?
That was me.
All right, so go ahead.
Citra, who would you say most influences you as an artist? Who do you say you look up to?
An artist I look up to is not even a fan of the show. Her name is Mittell, Midtell. She goes by the name Imaginee, that's 2 E's, art on DeviantArt. And this is a traditional pencil drawer who does portraits. And it's absolutely amazing. And it blows me away on the amount of detail and time and effort she puts into her artwork. She is a major influence into continually trying to add details into my artwork. Beyond other artists, it's a bit of a mix. I don't really keep track of names. I just look at general artwork I find online. Very good inspiration from psdtuts.com or 2D Magazine. They have very good artists that I like to keep track and read interviews on. And they are always the ones that inspire me to do just a little bit more every single time I do with my paintings.
Very good. Another question for you. I know you class yourself as a digital artist, but if you had your dream world or talents, what would your preferred medium be, or what is your favorite type of art to view and admire?
Okay, are you talking about like
paint, sketch, pencil, digital?
I don't see any difference between some traditional and digital medias. They're all in their own respective categories. I generally like to look on artwork that's similar to mine, where artists would spend a good general amount of time into them. I wish I can remember some of the names. I should have written this down. There is some very good artists on DeviantArt that spends a tremendous amount of time, just like me. One of the oil artists I like watching, his name is Dashi with 2 Y's. In fact, he's in the chat room right there.
Really?
Yeah, he does oil paintings. So as far as I know, he's the only one that's doing that.
Oh my.
Hey, Dashi, we need to talk.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he
I'm
needs
trying
some
not to say those
recognition.
things on the show, but they're running through my mind.
No, it's like, no. Well, we got a great artist here that we're still talking with. We'll talk.
We
later,
do.
Dashi. No. Yeah.
The one you're
What-
showing right now on live stream, that was my sister's. My vision of my sister as a pony, because she had a dream she was a pony and she remembered it.
I'm not going to say anything.
She is a regular gal, but the next day she had the same dream, but she remembered to pause in her dream and look what her cutie mark was, and it was a flower.
Huh.
I wish
That's
I
actually
have an
really
ability to manage my dreams like that.
The
I
closest
remember
I
when
can
my
come
sister
to is
didn't
just. You don't want to know what I remember in my dreams.
Garu.
One thing I do want to ask, though, since you are an artist and there's just a lot of craziness that happens with the community at times. Has there ever been a fad of the community that you wanted to get involved with, at least while it was going on, like the blobs or the sock ponies or pine cones or anything like that?
I generally don't follow community memes like that. Some of them amuse me. Others, I just like, oh, that's nice. I generally do my own thing. As you can see through my artwork, they're not really reflecting ideas from the community that much. I don't know. It feels like I don't have that much interest in following the major crowd, so to speak.
Nah, it's always fun to do your own thing. It's always humorous
Yeah.
to see what some of the crazy things that they come out with in the fandom.
Oh yeah.
They do come out with some crazy stuff, I'd say. I mean, you even drew the image of it, Fighting is Magic. That's probably the best example I can come up with about fandom craziness.
Oh yeah. That's probably one of the only images that actually resembles part of the fandom. Can't wait for that to be out.
I definitely have to ask, though, we really don't have anything on the Pegasi other than, we're pretty sure Fluttershy Super is the stair. So, in terms of Rainbow Dash's position in your Fighting is Magic image, what made you want to do, basically the pose that she was in, or I suppose the attack feature?
Well, since they didn't really show anything of Rainbow Dash yet, because obviously they don't have it done yet, I decided to do like a Sonic Rain Boom, because I feel that's going to be an obvious attack they'll use. And to really emphasize speed that she was in, I stretched out her anatomy a tad to emphasize that. So all I can imagine is her like a triangular shape. If you see my time lapse, you can briefly see that I do that. Beyond that, it was just in my head. I draw what I see in my head.
Dude, that is so cool.
Some people are not really liking it, but they just don't really get that it is stretched that way because she's moving real fast.
Oh, that's true, man. I thought you were saying some don't really like the image. I was going to say, who am I going to have to back hoof here? I mean, I can understand if they don't like the stretch effect. I think that's really cool the way you did it, but I suppose I can understand if someone tells me they just don't like the image. I'm like, no, what are you talking about? You're an idiot.
Yeah, I made sure I get every single character in that image their unique personality and an attack from the game.
Yeah, no, you did pretty well with that. Alrighty. So, host chat, any other questions?
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and beat the regular chat.
No,
to this.
you go, Circuit. I've already had two.
Oh, okay. Well, wait, wasn't there somebody else that wanted to?
I thought I was about to say something.
Yeah,
and you
Suki,
guys-
go.
Whatever.
You got it.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and beat the regular chat to this because this must be asked, and Sky Striker's trying to beat me. Muffins or cupcakes?
Damn it all.
I would have to say cupcakes. My sister chooses muffins. She's literally derpy right now. Sibling rivalry.
It's a big sibling rivalry between me and my sister. She's not a brony. Not happy. Anyway,
Oh, my sister
so-
is brony.
Okay, I have
so-
a different one that I was going to ask.
All right. Well, I got a bit of an off one here. Even though I admit it's probably like trying to choose the favorite of all your children, but is there one particular image that you've made that you're especially proud of all of them?
Well, I don't put a lot of emotional attachment to my images as I'm painting them, because if I love them as I'm drawing it, it won't come out as good. But if I hate it as I'm drawing it, it comes out better. I learned that from an artist interview, and it surprisingly works. But if I would have to choose the one I liked most, I would have to say my Pinkie Pie image, where she's bursting into the candy store. There we go, Sugar Cube. I spent so much time on that. I was on and off it, and when I was finally done, it was such a huge sigh of relief that I got it done, and I just really loved the pose and their expression in it, and the little story I hinted.
It really did come out really well. What I like about your artwork primarily is all the little background details too. The things you just kind of notice the more you look at the image. As Circuit showed the image just then when he did, that was the first time I noticed Mr. Cake in the background there. I had never seen him before.
I tend to try to plan my images out, lay out the composition, try and figure out where the viewer's eyes are going to go. I literally manipulate the photo to guide the viewer throughout the image to where I want them to look at, and then they allow them to explore through the backgrounds, and then they'll be like, "Oh wow, I didn't see that." In fact, the Pinky one you were talking about, there's a derpy in that.
Oh, what?
Yeah, derpy's in that one.
Well, I was going to ask as
I have two.
I was going to ask just to since you said that you tend to try to hate, the more you hate your image, the more it comes out, but you probably answered it anyway, just to reverse it, which image do you hate the most? But I guess technically it would be Pinky.
The image I hate the most would probably be Rockin' Dash, the one where she's holding her guitar. I just feel that I could have done that a tad more better. I don't know why.
Oh, I found Derpy.
Where?
She's
Where do you see
just
her?
right
For some
outside
reason
the
I can't
door at
find
the
her.
top.
She is covered on the live stream's logo on live stream.
Oh, you gotta be
She's
kidding.
in the sky. That was son of a
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
that
I can barely see the back end of her.
It's so small.
dude.
Yeah, I put a lot of Easter eggs. She is in several of my other paintings and in my future Twi one. If you really zoom in on some of the papers, you can see a few more Easter eggs in there.
We can't even escape the derpy hunts in the community.
Who says we want to escape it?
Exactly.
I suppose. Yeah, there
Another-
she is.
that's two
My
of-
God.
Yeah.
All right, and also very quickly, to Lunati there, Nightmare Moon, sexiest among those three, flat out. Okay, now moving along. Anyone else in the host chat?
I have two more questions.
We have time for
First
one.
one. Okay, then I'll just ask this one. Is there any fan fiction, artwork, anything done in the community that you have ever decided that you wanted to draw a picture for? Or aside from, the collab you did with Tombstone? Anything that you just spur of the moment wanted to do a tribute to?
Well, I don't read fan fiction. I have not read any of them. I have heard of some very, very good ones time to time, but I never brought myself to read fan fictions because I don't really like another person's view on a character to influence mine, my own view. I like the characters just the way they are. But if I would choose, based on what I heard on some of the fan fictions, I heard about past sins, and that's if I would have drawn something, I would have drawn something for that.
Is there any chance you could? Because I'm not only a huge fan, but in your style, honestly, I think any Bastions art would look amazing.
I don't know. I have a lot of things on my art agenda, a few gifts, and something derpy related that the entire community can actually be involved in. So that'll be coming soon.
And T-Citra, that your answer to that question was very well reasoned and objective, and I approve of that.
Thank you.
Don't let other things influence you.
Okay, for this rocking dash, what is that on the moon in the background? Because I can't see it in this.
It looks like there's more ponies flying in front of it.
Yeah, Pegasus flying in the crowd.
All right. So host chat. Anything else?
Nah, I think I'm good.
No.
Alrighty. Then okay. So viewer chat. You know how it works. Italics and underline. 4 questions.
Havoc and let loose the dogs of war.
Oh.
All right.
Ooh, I like that one from CC0.
Yeah.
I
How
was
much
about
of
to
your
say,
picture
okay.
ideas do you actually end up completing?
I missed the first part. What is it?
How much of your picture ideas do you actually end up completing? Like I'm sure you come up with a lot of ideas, but how many would you say? I suppose a general estimate or percentage or something of how many actually make it into the artwork.
I'll say about 90% of them, because I don't start an image unless I really want to finish them. Though I do have some original artwork that is still in progress over a year now. I got currently 1, 2, 3, 4 paintings in progress right now. 2 of them are pony related. The other 2 are dragon related. And one is nearly in completion. It's called Smile. You can guess what character is in that one.
Fluttershy.
I'm about 32 hours into that, and I estimate I have about 20 more hours left before it's completely done.
Oof. My gosh.
I like this question from DojerCon. Are Easter eggs planned out ahead of time, or are they inserted as you go along?
They are inserted as I go along. As I'm drawing it, or if I get bored with a certain part image, I think, okay, what can I put in here that people who actually dive into my artwork will love to find?
Here's another good piece of art advice. Do you have any advice for any aspiring artists? Inspiration, quotes, things. Anything that could help them on their way or continuing on their way.
Start off with pencil and paper first. I think it's very good to start off traditionally before you pick up a tablet and learn how to use a program. It's a good solid base for an artist to do. Don't stick with fan art mostly. It's very fun to do, but learn how to draw practically everything. Humans, people, dragons, horses, buildings, rocks, whatever is right in front of your face. Draw it, keep practicing, never stop practicing. I'm still practicing, and the one thing I tell everybody every single time, an artist is never perfect. There's always room for improvement.
Now, I generally understand that's why a lot of artists in this community have fun drawing ponies, is because ponies kind of negate some of the more niggly details, such as hands, because apparently every artist hates hands.
I just draw my own as reference.
Oh, there you go. I'll tell you how I draw my hands. I kind of just trace through my fingers and make a turkey out of it. I don't care what you say, that shit's fun.
If you had some fingers missing, you would make...
I bet if you had a couple fingers missing, you draw a screwed up turkey.
Screwed up turkey.
Dude, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that to make a griffin.
That turkey was in an accident.
I'm gonna do that to make a griffin.
Back on track. Cool Dog 144 says, "You said that you draw what you see from your head. So when you are starting to plan a drawing out, do you use any type of objects around you to get some kind of ideas that bring out any mood or theme?"
I do some reference work. I look for real life pictures to get an idea, some and other random objects from online, I have a second monitor, and I put them up there for reference. And when I have the image in my mind, I quickly draw out the pose and the general layout of the entire image before I start any type of detail work. You can see that every single time-lapse video I do, you see very, very rough lines all over the image. Well, that's basically laying out what I see in my head. And then I refine it, or I refine it, or refine it, or refine it. Eventually, I start coloring. So I'm about to go off into a whole different area, but I hope that answers the question.
You know, I actually really like this question here. Do you have any habits that annoy you when creating your art?
Yes. Spending too much time smoothing out a color in one spot. I have a terrible habit of doing that. I'm pretty sure some live streamers notice that. I force myself to move on. I jump around all over the image. It's just so I can not spend too much time in one area. Yeah, that answers the question. That's my annoying habit I have.
Yeah.
Okay, there's like 2 or 3 people asking this, so I'm gonna ask it so they stop flooding the chat with it. Now I gotta scroll up and find it really quick.
I'm guessing one
Would you rather be an Earth Pony, Pegasus, Unicorn, or Alicorn?
Earth. I just have a feeling that I feel like you have a lot more problems doing things, and thus you learn a lot more from it. Where you fly, you have a horn. It's a little more easier. I think you have a better life if you learn how to do things the hard way than just be lazy, basically.
Suck it, ponies. The Citra's on our side.
Very pragmatic of you.
I agree.
Plus, I learned how to use the land.
I agree. You never appreciate what you have to. Well, you appreciate what you have to work for.
This reminds me of the second episode of this season when obviously when they lost their horns and wings. Is literally the first thing I said when that happened. I'm just like, oh, boo hoo! What a tragedy it is to be an Earth Pony.
I actually thought they were going to actually do something like that before the show ever began, the season began. I was thinking, they're definitely going to take their wings or horns away in one episode. And when that happened, I was like, oh yeah, I definitely called it.
Nailed it.
Yeah, I even nailed the Pinky gag where she had to run to the bathroom. Months before the episode ever aired, I made a Be Right Back drawing from a live stream where she was running off to the bathroom. It's called Be Right Back Bathroom. That's what I use whenever I go to the bathroom. When that occurred, I was like, oh, I called it again.
What makes me laugh is that's Be Right Back is one of Pinky's moves in fighting his magic. That just seems, that whole little joke seems to be everywhere.
I have a bunch of Be Right
Way
Back
before
Pinky
it was ever
drawings.
even in the show.
I've seen a couple variations of this question. Do you have any ideas that you never ended up doing, or do you have any unfinished artwork that you're planning on doing?
Well, he said that.
I did start a comic I was trying to combine several character personalities into one. It's a freaky image. I did it all vector. I never fully completed it because I completely tackled the comic in the wrong way, not laying it out, not adjusting the positions, and never even put in the background. So it's just laying in my hard drive, collecting digital dust.
All right,
okay.
I think we got time for maybe one more question.
And
let's look for
shirts.
a related
Don't forget
one.
the shirts.
Oh, yes, of course, the shirts.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You wanted to... Oh, shoot. I should have done this beforehand. I've got them. I do. Alrighty. Now, why don't you tell us about the We Love Fine shirts that you were telling me about? I'll send the images of them to Circuit.
Okay. I got involved with We Love Fine a while ago now. Passed artwork back and forth. They were more than happy to have me as an artist. And I submitted several of my paintings to be approved as prints. About 12 of them are now available as prints at WeLoveFine.com. So it's very cool that a lot of my artwork is now approved by Hasbro and it's being sold as shirts or prints at We Love Fine. And the T-shirts he's showing right now on live stream, they're currently not on We Love Fine. They're still in the pending. They're still in the pending approval process, so they may not even be on We Love Fine. But I'm fairly confident they will be there. The one that's currently available is my Ponybots shirt.
And I definitely may have to get my hands on one of them. This shirt is amazing. All right. Now, before we wrap this up, I was recently told about a thank you note from a fan of yours that I won't say his name just because I'm not sure if, like, he wanted me to or not. But
he can let me know through a note later, like, hey, that was me. So don't worry.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and read this to you because actually it's very cool, and I told him that I think you'd really appreciate it.
Okay,
so all right, let me just now. All right. Oh, never mind. He says his name right here. Hi, my name is Pontus, also known as Ponies94, and on DEA Scootaloo. I'm 17 years old and I live in Sweden. I saw that you were this week's guest on the Brony Show, and I thought I'd write you a letter. I just want to thank you for what you do. You may do it for a personal gain, because you like it, or for any other reasons, but my life has been affected in a positive way because of you. You see, I've been drawing for as long as I can remember. At first it was because I was bored, then it was because of family issues, then it was because of school, and finally because of ponies. I've been trying to get featured on EQD's Draw Friends since I became a brony back in November. I was starting to lose hope to ever get featured, and I stopped drawing. Then last Thursday, I found a video of you making the main 6 fan art and thought to myself, okay, that's it, I give up. There's no way I'll ever be able to get in with all of these amazing artists ahead of me. I got home from school and couldn't stop thinking about it. That night, I didn't get much sleep. I woke up the next day and decided to give it one last try. I got to school and borrowed, quote-unquote, a drawing tablet. My teacher is going to kill me. Got home and got distracted by my friends on Skype. Saturday, I woke up and got to work. I spent the first 2 hours sketching on paper and the rest of the day in Photoshop. I nearly missed the new episode. Anyways, Sunday, I did some last touches and sent it into EQD. Since I'm in Sweden, the time zones are way off, and I spent the entire day waiting for the next draw friend. Later in the evening, I got a message from a friend on Facebook who said that he saw it. I couldn't believe it. I finally made it. Today, I spent the entire day drawing. I feel more inspired than I ever have, and I have you to thank for that. This letter got a lot longer than I intended it to, but I just wanted to thank you.
Well, that is awesome. Thank you, Scootaloo. Congratulations again in Quester Daily, and I'm very, very glad I can inspire other artists or have other people become artists because of me. I have several other people who became artists because of me and are influenced or encouraged by my artwork. So that's always very fulfilling to hear, and it encourages me more to continue doing art and help out people whenever I can.
Well, your work is pretty godly. I mean, it's definitely an inspiration. It's very easy to see why.
Yeah, I just got lost into it, just going from one to the next.
I know.
And I was doing it for the
honestly, a lot of times when with my interview guests and honestly other artists, I generally kind of don't pay attention. So like, they're not pony work. Obviously not because I don't like it, just because I kind of have to pay attention to the one thing. You know what I mean? But your gallery, I kind of like just scroll through the whole thing, even after the pony images kind of stopped. I'm like, this is so cool.
Even though I find the nice weird irony that you started off with dragons, especially since I have to admit I do have a bit of a dragon fetish myself.
I wouldn't call it that.
Well, no,
yeah,
fetish isn't the right word, but basically an enjoyment of dragons.
Interest.
Thank you. It works. Interest.
Me? No, I've got the fetishes of such things. Just to clarify to the
Spiral got me into dragons. And you two got me into ponies. I'm curious where I'll go next, but I'd like to dive more into the original work, concept art, and I have several ideas for shirts for We Love Fine that are completely my own, so I don't need Hasbro's approval for it, so keep a lookout for that.
Well, it's good. Hey, let us know when you get them on there. I might have to pick some of them up.
Oh yeah, one of them's dragon related, one's snowboarding related.
Solid.
Others random related. So
Sweet.
All right. Well, I think that's where we're gonna wrap up the interview. Just
T-Citra.
Thank you for joining us. It's been a great interview. Now, if you want, you can stay with us for the rest of the show, or if you have something else to do, feel free to go do your thing.
all right, can I say one last thing on the live stream?
Certainly, go ahead.
All right, my name is T-Citra360. That is artist spelled backwards. You can find me on
Citra.
DeviantArt. Yeah, you can. You can find me on DeviantArt, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. I may get a Tumblr soon. And thanks for listening to my interview, and I hope I can inspire more artists and enjoy my artwork. Oh, and I'm on We Left Fine there.
All right.
Well, so for the rest of things, I'm gonna turn things back over to Circuit. I swear I had something to say, but nothing in my head right now. So take it away, my lad.
Well, I definitely have something to say. That was the weirdest case of deja vu I had in the middle of that interview.
Really?
No, yeah, it's the weirdest thing. I keep having them here and there, little deja vu spurts, but that was weird because I swear I had the exact same conversation with the exact same people, the exact same art. It was weird. But anyway, let's